Welcome, good evening everybody. Welcome to Tigers Tuesday at RWB International. This particular event is entitled Spirit of Japan, sponsored by Damien Vilk, who's come up with the initiative, and the admins have given him stage to produce this series. Of course, we had Spirit of Germany last week, which was absolutely fantastic. There was some great racing out there. 5 minutes to go, 5.5 minutes to go, end of qualifying before we see this currently 30 car grid do 60 minutes around here. They've got to do a mandatory pit stop, and I just thought I'd take these this time just before the end of qualifying here, just to tell you a little bit about the track and so forth. Now look, we've all dabbled with Scalextric. Those of us who are over 45 or so know about pole position, figure of 8. All these words are synonymous with this wonderful circuit, which is Suzuka, just outside Suzuka City in Japan. This is one of the most infamous circuits in the world. This is a 3.6 mile, 5.8 kilometre in this GP variation, an FIA Grade 1 circuit. It's got 17 bends, there are 9 right, 8 left. There's got 1 hairpin, which is known as a hairpin, 1 chicane, known as the Casio triangle, an S section, which is known as the snake, and 2 offset parabolicas, 1 at first corner and 1 at spoon curve. And as usual, we'll jump in cockpit with someone and have a quick orientation of the track in a tick. Very fast sweeping right and left bends around here, known as the 200 right and 130 right, even though actually the other way around, to the left and to the right. But I think in the olden days, particularly in the 70s, there were variations of this track where they would go in the opposite direction, and it was named after that. This track has lots of undulating sections, curbs that punish, and a Ferris wheel. There is no other than Suzuka, particularly at night. We've run a couple of events at RWB International at Suzuka, an endurance event, and this is a really great track to go around at night. Now, because it's the Spirit of Japan, the cars therefore are the Honda, the Nissan, and the Lexus. More than one Lexus. Is that Lexus or Lexi? Lexus is. Owned by Honda, this circuit, along with Twin Ring Motegi. Oh, I say Motegi. It's not. I think it's Motegi. But Honda own both of these circuits. And it's one of the most demanding and rewarding motor racing circuits, packing a mix of almost every type of corner into this remarkably small space. Drivers rate it very highly, mainly because it's one of the few circuits these days which still has challenges to throw at them. You heard me earlier on, parabolicas, hairpins, fast sweeping lefts and rights. It's a wonderful circuit. It's gained world recognition because of unusual figure of 8 layout, which has spawned countless, of course, Scalextric imitations. Now, let's have a quick zip around with one of our drivers and orientate you. Who are we looking at here? We're looking at James Downs. Okay, press my random machine, my random button now. I wonder if James will go again. Let's jump in cockpit with James. Let's make it interesting. Let's go with the helicam. Alright, okay. So here we are, going through the chicane, which is the Casio triangle. Exiting on the right hand side, clipping the apex, coming down the hill. Ferris wheel on the left hand side. Along the main straight, underneath the Pirelli bridge. Extending down here, pits on the right hand side, timing tower on the right. Coming down into the first corner, which is slightly offset and a bit of camber. Onto the inside, known as the first corner. Sweeping out to the left, then cutting back into the right. All this known as the first corner. Now we go through the S section, known as the Snake, after an £18 million rebuild in 2001. Initially to the left, then to the right, then to the left, then to the right. Just in front of the cheap seats. Ferris wheel in front of you. Round to this fast sweeping left-hander known as the Dunlop Bend. And James is going to ruin my lap. Keep going, James, keep going. Down the hill. And the right-hander there. And then down to a 90 right down here at Degner Corner, named after the infamous motorcycle accident. Underneath the bridge, which is where the tracks cross. And we're now extending down a little bit of a right-hand kink into the hairpin. A very small parabolica, essentially. Now we're into the 200 right. This is to the right, whereas the 130 right is to the left. But I digress. Down the hill slightly under the Suzuka Bridge. Now we're just creating a little bit of a crest there. Tiny little bit of a crest. Into this infamous corner, which catches many drivers out. Double apex, spoon curve. And now we're into the back stretch. Very, very fast down here. Underneath the Dunlop Bridge. And we're going to start entering the 130 right, which if you go the other way around is, but actually for us on this is to the left. A lot of very talented drivers can clip that flat out underneath the Yokohama Bridge and into Casio Triangle, and then we're back onto the main straight. Yeah, as I was saying, a lot of the guys here are able to take that corner, that 130 right, which is actually to the left, very, very quickly, flat out. Actually, I'm not one of them. Where did James come? Let's have a look. 19th, so he still says 19th. I think it's James actually. Yeah, it's James Downs. Well done, James. You get a free RWB badge. See, RWB charger. But because you've crashed into the wall, you don't qualify. Right then, there we go. So we've got, what? 1 minute and 26 seconds left of qualifying, left to go. Some wait out time. I think essentially there's a few guys still out there. But I think they're just coming towards the end of their qualifying session. What does it look like so far then? Well, we can see Jake Moore out there with a 2 minute 0.7. Jake never ceases to amaze me. But not far behind him there, Varley with 0.3 of a second. Third place, Nippone. Becoming a thing, isn't it, Nippone, with you in the top sort of quadrant. So, you know, very well done. Half a second away from Jake. Fourth place, Badowski. Fifth place, Bukzek. Or Bookcheck, actually, I think that is. Then you got BGTP British. I'm just going to call him the Brit. 7th with Allenby, 8th Smith, 9th Hogan, 10th Cassotti, 11th Pelicano. That is what an amazing name. Pelicano, brilliant. Proctor 13th, Garda 14th, Hitchon 15th, Big Al 16th, Cos in 17th, Mad Al in 18th, 19th James Downs, who we've just been with, FX UK, Gandalf Super Tech Wizard in 20th. Westwood in 21st, Padokta in 22, and Dow in 23. There we go. That's our rundown. Now we've got a bit of garage time now. Now I think actually I've got to do some wizardry, which I think is compromises our stream, but I think you get to see that. But that's the way things are, I'm afraid, with ACC and streaming. I think at some point I've got to press drive because it's the end of the session. Of course, this is me streaming this, so it's not at the usual RWB international standards with regards to the quality of the stream. Let me know. Let me know what it's how it's coming out or how it's not coming out. Someone let me know. I think it should be coming out all right. I'm going to focus on the race. Cool. Let's. Why is it saying the session has ended? The session has not ended. Someone give me some clarity. It's a bit unusual, isn't it? Oh, there we go. Thank goodness for that. Now, I do have to press drive now to get rid of that blasted message board on the right-hand side there. Let's there we go. And then I have to Alt-Tab quickly out. There we go. You'll notice this month, this Tuesday, I've got my admin sorted out. And you have actually got a timing board on the left-hand side there. Bottom right-hand side is who we're looking at. And, of course, you've got the race timer up at the top. And some track details there. No chance of rain, you can see that. Oh, 30 minutes anyway, you know. Track is optimum grip. And the tyre and the temperatures up there are 17 degrees. And the wind is negligible, I think. Yeah, 0 kilometres an hour. So they have this time now, this last minute, to get their setups right, or just to make sure everything is all well. And then we'll be off for the second in this Spirit series on a Tiger Tuesday, which is called Spirit of Japan. Great stuff. Don't forget, mandatory pit stop. Got to change tyres. They don't have to change all 4. Oh no, hang on, wait a minute. I think it does change all 4, doesn't it? Because ACC. So they've got to change tyres. An hour around here. They probably don't need to take on any fuel. So let's see how we go. Great race last week, and I'm sure it'll be exactly the same this week. I have my coffee here. Lots of different types of races around Suzuka. Of course, it's a Grade A FIA circuit, so as you'd expect, F1. F1 actually came here in 1987, and the amount of people that were interested was so big in Japan, they actually ran a lottery for the tickets. You couldn't go and buy the tickets, you had to buy a lottery ticket, and it was sold out 3 times over. So the Mr. Honda made an awful lot of money. Right, here we go. We're looking at Holmberg, and of course they're in this rolling start, which is, as you've seen on our RWB International video on Racecraft, and what we expect of people coming to pay us a visit, you know, is a manual start, last corner. We're looking at Jake Moore there, currently in first place. On the wing with Jake Moore. Let's go for a wide shot on a helicam. Let's try and go so that we can try and grab as many as we possibly can. We're currently looking at BGT, well, the Brit. We've got quite a few there, and I think pole position, the pole sitter, Jake Moore, coming to the start line now, and the race will be on when he puts his foot down, and it's a go very shortly. Not just yet, not yet, not yet. In words of Gladiator, not yet. And they're away. Green light. Jake blasting down towards the first corner. He goes around it. Let's have a quick look on the wing there. Looks like everyone's getting through, most certainly. Back into 5th place to Bukzek looking back. Back into 8th place to Allenby looking back. Looks like everyone's making it through. 11th place looking back. Pretty good so far. Everyone through. Great sight. Back up to first position. Jake Moore then leading the way. In 2nd place currently, Phil Varley. We saw him really perform exceptionally well last week as well. As Jake is now coming down into the first left-hander and first right-hander, and then into Denga, coming up under the bridge, down towards the hairpin. We'll stay with pole position until the end of lap 1. So P1 goes around the hairpin, now extends to the 200 right down towards Spoon Curve. Already 0.6 of a second away from Varley, and you know, 1.2 seconds away from Nippon. So already Jake is extending away from the rest of the field. I don't think he'll get rid of Varley quite so easily as perhaps he will do others. Varley is a bit like a magnet, and Nippon certainly has upped his game over the past 6 to 8 months, most certainly in RWB International. I think that's because he attached himself to the speed demon Jake for a race series, and obviously learnt a great deal from him during that time, and at the same time, of course, coupled with his own skill, that's really enabled him to up his game. Fair play. Pretty drab day out there today, fairly overcast, although it's showing sunny. Doesn't look sunny. So there we go. Off he goes down into T1. So Jake Moore then in first place, leading Phil Varley in 2nd place, now coming up into the S's section. Nippon in 3rd place, Marco in 4th place, Ignedi in 5th place, BGB British in 6th, Allenby in 7th, Hogan in 8th, Massetti in 9th, Proctor in 10th, Hitchon in 11th, Garda in 12th, Holmberg in 13th, 14th, Prevot, 15th, FX, who's obviously climbed up a few places there in lap 1, which is great news. James Downs, who took us around for the orientation lap, in 16th. Zinn Tom out there in 17th in the Nissan. Charger in 18th. Garda in 19th. Garda, sorry, beg your pardon. Soam Dow, I think it is, in 19th. Fabio Gelati in 20th. Jamie Bird in 21st. 22nd is Jane. Maddow in 23rd. And 24th is Westwood. We can already see a couple of pockets starting to appear here. Alex Smith in 26th. And I think we've got a couple of people in the pits. We've got 3 people in the pits already. Obviously something that we weren't able to capture. There we go. Coming down the 200, down the 130 right. We can already see Jake still leading the pack on what is essentially lap 3. Coming up for lap 3. Great stuff. In with Phil Varley then. In cockpit, chasing down Speed Demon. Varley has got a fair bit of time behind him. Fair bit of breathing space. Well, 0.3 of a second as we see Napone. Probably better jump in with Napone. In with Napone then, chasing down Varley. Napone, 0.3 of a second. Coming through the S's section, or the Snake as it's now known. And almost looks like Napone is, you know, going at half speed. So he's obviously very comfortable around here. This particular section can catch a lot of people out. It is about obviously hitting those apexes just right. It is about lifting at the right time. It is about having the right line and entry. And a lot of people out there very talented at that, and that doesn't include me. Face full of sparks. What on earth? Goodness gracious, another face full of sparks. Farley, what are you trying to do to me? Oh, let's go for a wide shot. Oh, but Napone almost then loses 4th position to Badowski, who of course is also looking at Napone. Be careful, Napone, because I think Napone was going to go wide into the hairpin there. Possibly looking at undercutting Varley as Napone, signature-wise, goes wide, and Badowski is able to undercut Napone and now challenges Varley. Yep, that's Varley in front. There is a slight mismatch with what you're seeing there on the timing board. It's now changed. So Badowski now into 3rd place, chasing Varley. On the wing with Badowski back to Napone. You can see that Napone's right there and challenging, most certainly. But right behind Napone, of course, very, very closely, you can see Bookjack. I think it's Bookcheck. So these 3 here, and a great little battle going on. And Bookcheck looking at drafting, trying to gain a little bit of speed from Napone. Oh, and just clips the inside. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's see what happened there. Let's go back. And we can see here, you know, just clip the near side and, you know, concertina effect there. So back with Badowski, who's in 3rd place. Varley in 2nd place. And Napone in 4th place. So they were able to rejoin. But now, of course, being challenged by by the Brit, who's had chance to close that gap up. So they were quite lucky there, having to come off where they did and still be able to have traction to rejoin the track. Of course, it's concrete at that point. Had that been sand or gravel, I think there would have been a different story. So, you know, for what it was, no harm done, so to speak. Let's have a quick rundown. Jake Moore in cockpit with Jake Moore. Out there on his own, essentially 2.1 seconds away from Varley. On the wing with Jake, we can just see Varley coming over the hill there. With Varley looking back, you can see there's Bookcheck, who profed from that Napone and Badowski bash into 1st corner. Bookcheck looking back, he's got a bit of space there, isn't he, to the Brit. Good 2.5 seconds. The Brit, you know, he's got a bit of space there back to Badowski, and likewise to Nippon. So good bit of coverage for them, that top 5 there. Let's see what else is going on elsewhere. Nick Hogan and Cossetti, these two both in the Lexi. Both these guys here challenging each other within, you know, 0.3 showing here for me, 0.3 of a second. Behind them, there's another battle going on here between these. Oh, actually, it's extended away a bit, hasn't it? Allenby leading Garda in the Lexus, leading Holmberg in the Honda. And on the wing with Holmberg, looking back there, we can see there's a good, you know, half a second to British, and then Downs looking back to FX because he's already climbed up a place, and in cockpit with FX now, chasing down Downs. And don't forget, we started off with 30 cars there, so you know, there's plenty of racing going on all the way around. The good thing about this track is that it is quite a long track. You're not going to get lapped anytime soon. You know, you're going to be a fair bit of time into the race before you're going to start being lapped. Hitchon in 15th, yes. Munchin Skull in YouTube chat. Hitchon is indeed in 15th place. And looking at him there, he's currently in the George Hitchon Unicorn Racing in the Godzilla in the Nissan, and on the you can see behind him there the Lexus and the Honda of Charger and Proctor. In cockpit with Proctor now, chasing down Charger, coming into the Spoon. Looks almost like the Lexus is a little bit out of shape, starts to lose a little bit of traction, but I think Proctor might just well have the drive on Charger coming down at this point. We're going to come into the 130 right now. It's about who's going to lift, if anything. I don't think anyone has. And how wide they go. No, so far so good. Charger then into Casino Triangle. As is usually the case with chicanes, it's about the exit, not just the entry. And I think they've both done fine there, didn't they? Good for them. So, Charger and Proctor then, they continue their battle. Zinn in the Honda. Behind him, Dow in the Lexus. And Smith in 19th place, just going around the first corner now and into the Snake. Dan Henderson. Jamie Bird. And around that... Oh, what happened there? Let's go back 10 seconds. What happened to Samuel Jane? What on earth happened to him? Well, never mind. I think he looked like he just slowed down, didn't he? But all is well. Now, what's happening at the beginning there? What's happening at the front? Jake Moore out. 2-second lead from Phil Varley. Phil Varley, a 2-second lead to Bookcheck. And these three here, I mean, you know, on the wing with Bookcheck, you look back there, there's nobody there. There's no one there. You can just see them coming to the Casio Triangle now, which is Badowski. In cockpit with Badowski. Of course, we've got the sun is just, I think, going down. Oh, of course it's coming up, isn't it? The sun is coming up. It was an early start. What a beautiful sunrise. ACC, wonderful, wonderful sim. It's got better and better and better. GT4 pack just come out. We're running a GT4 league. RWB International starts this Saturday. Qualifying for that is done via hot laps. 5 consecutive hot laps on our hot lap server. come along to rwbracing.club, click on the Discord link, come on in, and you'll find all the details there to enter the GT4 League. Do please come along, join us. Plenty of spaces. We're running multi-tiers for it. And currently there are lots of people that are interested in it, and lots of people have qualified, but there are lots of spaces left. Someone just going off there. Good lap here from Badowski so far, through the Dengo corner and under the bridge. So do come along and try your hand. Only takes 2 to race. Don't be put off by these exceptionally fast fellas. We can't all be that fast. We can't be all that fast. No, it's just said we. I'm in it too. Stop and go penalty for 30 seconds for FX UK. Likely to have been track limits. And I think he's used that opportunity to pit, because the little bar there is green next to him. Let's go and find out what he's doing. He's come out of the pits now. Exit. Well, he's already pitted, hasn't he? Beautiful sunrise. Just coming into the pits now. Look. I think he's got a stop and go penalty from speeding in the pits. That's what it will be. Yeah, it will be. So he's got a stop and go 30-second penalty for speeding in the pits. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Napone chasing down Badowski still. Guys, if you had that little tap earlier on, you'd be up there in Barley and Bookcheck's place, wouldn't you? Let's find out what's going on at the back, shall we? Cos currently in... Oh, wait. That's not what we want, is it? Mad Owl currently in 25th place. I think we've got a couple of guys who have retired already. Really don't see the point in retiring unless the car is absolutely destroyed, but okay. Mad Owl currently in 25th, still going. Well done. Big Owl in 24th in the Lexus, just coming up into the 130 right, which of course is 130 left. Strange. FX UK just finishing now his stop and go penalty, currently in 23rd. Undoubtedly that will be as a result of speeding in the pits. Very easy to do if you're on the manual pit. FX now rejoining. At this point he's being lapped, of course. Pelicano in 22nd. Mariki in 21st. Dow, who we saw earlier on go around first corner on the outside like he was pedal cycling. Not sure why. Perhaps he just went too deep. Probably right. Jamie Bird in 19th. Samuel Jane in 18th. Zin in... oh, I thought he was following the other car on the bridge. Zin in 17th. Chasing down Alex Smith. Hitchon in 15th place. Hitchon's in the Nissan. The unmistakable whine of the Godzilla and the four-wheel drift that we can see Hitchon holding on to the Nissan like it's a bull on amphetamine. And there we see their Charger just lifting, going through the 130 left. That's what I'm going to call it now. That looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't it? Be careful, Charger. You've got Hitchon behind you. These four here along the main straight there. Hitchon, it looks looking like going for the outside. They're both side by side coming into the first corner. And I think Hitchon has just nabbed Charger at the beginning of the snake. No. Rewind, Targa. Tiger. I think it was actually Tom Proctor, wasn't it? Tom Proctor in the chrome. Let's see. Come on, ACC, catch up with me. Catch up with me. Come on. It wasn't Charger. Do you know what? I'll tell you who that was. That was FX unlapping himself. There we go. So FX unlapping himself from Charger. FX now significantly behind as a result of that stop and go penalty. It's not just about your speed and pace. It's also about your ability to comply with the rules, essentially. You only have to come off once, or you only have to have a stop and go penalty, and it completely and utterly ruin your race. We saw at one point FX went from qualifying 20th with, by the end of the first lap, way up into 14th place. Now back down into 23rd, and now in the position where he's having to unlap himself. He's clearly got the pace on Charger, who's currently running 14th. And you can see that because he's extending away from Charger, which tells me that actually he would have been placed much higher than 14th had he not had that stop and go penalty. 14th being where FX originally was. So, you know, that's a shame for FX. Very unusual, I agree with YouTube chat. Very unusual, very unlike FX to have had a stop and go penalty. But, you know, it's easy done. If he can do it, anyone can do it. As FX pulls over to the right in order to allow the guys to, because I think he obviously checked the time differential and saw that Charger was closing in. So he is having a different type of race now, FX. He's still racing, not necessarily for position, but he is racing for his own racecraft. And of course, he's in a position now where he's able to practice utilising strategy of being lapped by someone who actually probably is about the same or slightly slower than him normally, and how he gives way and when he gives way, and of course when he takes the opportunity to unlap. So yeah, fair play. Let's zip up to the front. Let's find out what's going on. Jake Moore then out in front now, pulled away from Varley by 5.6 seconds and continues to do so. Jake's last lap was a 2:01.740. His best lap was a 2 minutes 0.8. 2 minutes 0.8. Which is, wow, very fast. Phil Varley, his best lap was 2:01.5. His fastest lap was a 2:02.3. So exactly 1 second off Jake. So Jake at the minute is pulling about 1 second a lap, well, just under 1 second a lap actually, while working out about 0.78, 0.79 seconds a lap. He's pulling away from Varley. Bookjack in third place. His best lap was 2:01.404. 2:01.404. And his best lap, his last lap, sorry, was a 2:01.809. So fairly consistent. Napone, 2:01.554, his best. Prevot, Prevot's best lap was a 2:01.488. Earlier on I said to you this track is a long track, and as a result of that it takes a fair old while before you'll start to get lapped, and that's of course true. Because it's so long, because you've got these fast sections, and that automatically, you know, that very quickly come to a very slow section, you know, hairpin, the spoon curve that we're looking at now, the Denga corner, the snake section. Because of these sections, which significantly slow you down in parity with how fast you're actually going along these very fast sections, you know, like we're on now, watching Prevost come down the main back straight into the 130 left, I'm going to call it. You're able to extend away from each other and create these sort of breathing spaces, and at the minute almost all of them have got these breathing spaces, these dead grounds where they're not being challenged, where they've got a bit of space in front and space behind. You can see that on the timer board very clearly. The Brit in 7th place. Let's jump in cockpit with him. Again, look at that sunrise. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I can only pay it homage. Well done, Kunoz. Yeah, Hogan in... not Hogan, is it? It's Linus Allenby in 8th place. As he goes around Spoon Curve. And you can just see behind him there, Garda leading Holmberg as they come into the S's section, or the Snake. So if you're watching this and you're wondering what a fast time round here is, well, as I said, you know, it's a 2 minute point 8. 2 minute point 8. Load your car up for an hour's worth of racing, so you've got the right amount of fuel on there, and see how quick you can go around here, and that'll give you some sort of idea where you would be against some of these very quick fellas. This track was actually built in 1960, as I said earlier on, by Mr. Soshiro Honda, who also built and owns Twin Ring Motegi. That circuit is in Assetto Corsa and, of course, Race Room Racing Experience. And many other sims as well. Sadly, it's not in this sim, but it's a good circuit to throw a car around, that's for sure. But this originally was a paddy field area, this whole area. And when Mr. Honda decided to build this track, he decided to build this track because the infrastructure in Japan was particularly poor. There was no other real circuits where he could use it to showcase his products, and that's why he built Suzuka, predominantly for cars, although of course bikes race around here, with Twin Ring Motegi, predominantly for bikes. Great circuit. Tom Proctor in 11th place, watching him come down the main straight now. James Downs in 12th place. Charger holding his own in 13th place. He'll be pleased with that, although he is being challenged at the minute by Alex Smith. In cockpit with Alex Smith, or even actually, let's go on the wing with Charger. We can see Smith challenging on the inside coming up to the first corner, but no. Charger holds it and took a very tight line into first corner there. It's usually better to go wide and then come in. Some of the faster guys give a really good example of that. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's have a quick replay. We can see Charger coming into the entry of the Snake and just loses traction on the back end there, and enough to tank slap him back on. But no harm done. You know, he rejoins. And he hasn't lost that many places, hasn't damaged the car, so he'll put that one down to the phenomena of the Snake. Right, 33 minutes into this race, and notwithstanding Badowski, Pelicano, FX, Big Al, Mad Al, the majority of these guys have not pitted yet. In cockpit with Jake Moore, with the Speed Demon, as he goes through the... Interesting to see how he takes the S's section. The Snake coming up now into... just coming out of Dunlop, actually. Dunlop Bend. Crikey. Holy moly, he goes wide there, doesn't he? Uses all of the track. That's why he's so fast. And of course... some say when he was born he was fed Castrol R instead of mother's milk, and that his mother's middle name is Cylinder Head. All we know is There's only one Speed Demon, and you'll see him in action out here. Commanding lead. His last lap was a 2:02. What will his lap be this time round? As we're watching him go down the back straight into the 130R. Sparks fly everywhere as he comes into the Casio triangle. I've just realised we've got a clock up there. It's 5:31 in the morning. What sort of madness is that to start a race at that time in the morning? So his last lap was a 2:01. His best lap was a 2:2.8, and his previous lap before that was a 2:02. So I don't know. Maybe his tyres are going off. I mean, that's still a very fast pace. I mean, look at the lead. 10 seconds. You know, he's in a league of his own out there. He could afford to pull over, couldn't he, and read a paper. And that's no slur on this guy. This guy's second place, very fast in the Lexus there, coming out of the S's. And he's leading his second place. And looking back there, we can see Bookcheck. There's a great view where you can see the undulations of Fuji. You know, when you're in the cockpit, it doesn't look like you're coming downhill here, but you certainly are. You can see that from this wing position, continuously going down the hill. It's not really until here where it levels out under the bridge, and of course down into the hairpin, and then the downhill bit starts again as we now go around the 200 right. We're in with Bookcheck following Varley and into Spoon Curve.
We're at the halfway mark. Keep pushing.
But we've just crossed the halfway mark, as you've just seen the message up there. Nippon in fourth place, being hunted down by Prevot. In cockpit with Prevot looking at Nippon. Prevot only it says 0.7 of a second, but it's certainly less than that. As we get blinded by the sun, Prevot goes very wide under the Yokohama bridge and now closes the gap on Nippon as they both go through the Casio triangle, which is actually a chicane, and Nippon now pits. So Nippon in the pits. In goes Nippon, and now some of the guys are starting to pit at this stage. We pretty much knew that, didn't we? We knew it was going to be a 30-minute, you know, around about the 30 minutes, some of them will start to pit. Notwithstanding those guys at the beginning who had a problem, an issue, and came in and used that time to pit. These guys now pitting. Lots of people coming into the pits. This Smith just been awarded a drive-through, so you know that's his 12th position gone. You know, he will not finish in 12th position. This is a time where FX is able to use this time to really push to try and unlap himself some more, and certainly under the, you know, the next few positions in front of him, you know, are certainly within his grasp for the rest of this race. He hasn't got a pit. You're going to need about 40 seconds to come in and pit here. FX now back onto the main straight. Bearing in mind, of course, he had a stop and go penalty. He obviously pitted because the car was damaged. As he just comes out in front of Nippon. So yeah, you know, FX is up against it. He moves over to let Nippon have the line. Great example. So back with Jake, hasn't pitted yet. We can see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Top 9 haven't pitted. Then we've got it's Smith. There we go, up into 10th. But of course, you know, he's got his drive-through. So You know, he'll be kicking himself. He'll be absolutely seething with the fact that he's got a drive-through, because a drive-through is not just a drive-through. A drive-through is 45 seconds wasted. And he will probably rejoin, just looking at those timings now, he will rejoin around about 19th, 20th. About 20th place. Now, he's got 3 laps to do it in, but it'd be wise to get it over and done with in order to exploit as much time as you possibly can of the rest of the race to close that gap up. Just seeing whether he lifts. Popped it down a gear, didn't he? I was doing a 9-hour endurance event around here with old Munching Skull. RWB Munching Skull. Well, where are you going? Where are you going, Alex? That's it. Into the pits. And hit the limiter. Oh, do you know what? I don't think he was down to 31 miles an hour then, was he? Did he get another drive-through? Let's see. This will be interesting. I think he manually... You know, if you've got manual pit button, it's only going to work if you're in first gear. If you've got it set automatically, it's only going to engage if you're in first gear. Most of us know that. Most of us know that. Most of us still screw it up. I knew that, and on a recent event at Bathurst, got 2 drive-through, 1 stop and go, and a drive-through as a result of speed in the pit lane. So it's very easy to be done. But that's all part of the strategy, all part of racing, is understanding these rules and regulations and being able to do that as well as you can pass someone or even yield. Jake going for the long run, isn't he? 13 seconds in front of Varley. I think he's probably thinking to himself now that he's, you know, he's fairly safe with Varley. It would be good news for him to see Varley pit before he did, but because of course all the time he's out there, the longer the shorter the time is getting on the clock. But I don't think that position is... I don't think he's in a position to challenge for the rest of the race. But, you know, I know Speed well. He won't rest on laurels. He'll still push as hard now as if he was racing, you know, in a top league event. No difference amount of commitment is given to this race as a one-off as any of our league events. And everyone's best of mates outside of racing. But when they're out there racing, they're out there racing. Speed then, coming across a back marker here. Who do we think that is? Let's have a look. I think that's probably... I think that is probably... No. I was going to say Miyuraki. But no. Let's go back to Jake Morse. I think, actually... Is he going to pit? No, he's going around again. I think he's going for the long run. That's what's happening there. Yeah, going for the long run. I think actually that was Hitchin behind. Let's have a look. Yep, there we go. It was Hitchin. So in cockpit with Hitchin, there's number 1 there, P1, extending away up through the snake. Phil Varley now just coming into the first corner. We can see the time there, it's saying 14 seconds. I think you find it's a little bit more than that. Great stuff. 22 minutes and 43 seconds left of the race. No chance of rain. 5:40 in the morning. Track is optimum. 17 degrees. Currently leading Jake Moore. Second place, Phil Varley. About It's a bit more than 16 seconds. It's saying 14 on the timer board. That's not updated as quickly as... It's not real-time update, I'm afraid. That's a limitation of the sim. Cazzotti in third. In fourth place, Garda. And in fifth place, Holmberg, which is great news for them. But, of course, Holmberg is coming into the pits now in the Honda. But, of course, Garda and Cazzotti and Varley have not pitted yet. Neither has Jake Moore. So, you know, where we should be looking is at this guy, Prevot, because Prevot is about 45 seconds away from Jake Moore. And, of course, Jake, Varley, Cazzotti and Garda have yet to pit. So, we'll keep an eye on Prevot, because when he comes, when Moore comes out, when Jake comes out, that will be a true indication of the time differential between them all, because he's the top guy that's already pitted. So who will be the first to pit? Jake No is going back around again and at the bottom of the S's section. Varley is on the straight down into first corner. Cazzotti is coming into Casio Triangle. Does he take this opportunity now to pit? Yes, he does. And Garda now is coming around what looks like Spoon. Yep, that's Spoon curve. So he's significantly away. And then, of course, behind him we just saw Prevot. So there we go. So now we've just seen Cazzotti coming into the pits. So let's look at these two, Cazzotti and Prevot. So Cazzotti, you know, 30 seconds is going to... all the way down to the end, crikey. Okay, 30 seconds from now, that's how long it's going to take. Meanwhile, Prevot is coming into Casio Triangle. So Prevot will move up into fourth place. And Cazzotti will sit there and eat sausage rolls and drink tea, because he has no option. Prevot up into fourth place. Garda in front of him. So these two guys now are at it. Prevot, of course, knows, well, I've pitted and you haven't. And Garda, though, is significantly in front. That's not Garda in front there. Oh, yes, it is. Beg your pardon. No, it's not. Yes, it is. That is Garda. Yeah, this is Garda, who you're seeing there. Yeah. So Prevot is just in front. Garda, let's just double check now. Garda is in the Lexus. The red and black Lexus. Well, they're both red and black. Look at that. White and black then. Garda, white and black. Prevot, look, literally 4 seconds behind him. So Prevot will move up into third place. Now, key thing, where is Varley? In the pits. Where's Moore? Is extended out again. So Prevot will definitely take third place, because Garda has got to pit. But it's whether Varley exits the pits in time before Prevot. I think he will. I think he just had just enough time. Let's look at Prevot now coming into the 130 left. And now into Casio Triangle. Meanwhile, Phil Varley is still sitting there. Prevot is coming out of the Casio Triangle down the main straight past the pit entry. Along the main straight now. Varley is now leaving the pits. Prevot passes the pit exit and along by the white lines. Varley now comes onto the main track. And surely Prevot has taken it. Yep, Prevot is now into second place. Prevot will be into second place at this point by the time that evens out. Don't forget, Garda has got to pit yet. That has not updated. Varley. Varley at the top of Dunlop, top of the snake into Dunlop. Prevot is now showing as third, but he's not. He will actually be second. There we go. It's now updated. You can see Prevot is in front of Varley. And, you know, Prevot's second place is his. Because Garda, who's... Oh, come on! What happened there? Let's rewind. You know, Prevot is chasing Garda now down towards the hairpin. And in cockpit. Can we go in cockpit? Oh, crikey. I don't think we can... Yep, let's go in cockpit with him. Chasing him down towards the cockpit. Down towards... Denga corner. We're in with Prevot underneath the bridge. That's Garda in front. That position is his. Prevot has got that position. You know, if I'll be really honest with you, I think that's Prevot's fault. You know, he didn't need to push that hard. He was sitting pretty, and by knocking Garda off there, in my view, that's bad form. And Prevot has got enough time differentials there. He should have let Garda rejoin, in my view. That was bad form, Prevot. I'm calling you out. With Varley then. Varley now back up into essentially second place. Prevot. No, that can't be right. There we go. Yeah. Well, they've obviously lost that. He obviously lost that position to Varley. Not sure what happened there. Varley was very clearly not in front of Prevot, was he? But there we go. So we are watching Prevot there chase Varley. We're watching Varley on the wing with Varley. We can see Prevot on the inside. That's Napone on the outside. So Prevot... Varley, Prevot and Napone. Oh, come on. That was bloody poor racing. Bad form. So we're with Varley. Let's go with Napone. This is on a replay. Napone looks at the inside here. Thinks he can... Well, actually, you know what? Rewind. There you go. Good battle here. Yeah, no, I thought so, yeah. I think what happened there with Napone, he was going too fast into that corner. It almost looked like a dive. I don't think he'd done that on purpose. But nonetheless, he's the one who's come worse off, hasn't he? Because he's now 6th place instead of what was essentially, you know, 4th, 5th. Varley still out there in 2nd place. Prevot in 3rd. This is where the battle is. Bookjack being chased by Badowski. Jake Moore way out there in front. Let's stay with Prevot in cockpit with him, chasing down Varley for 2nd position. 14 minutes and 14 seconds left to go. The sun burning my retinas out my skull. Underneath the Yokohama Bridge into Casino Casio Triangle. Yeah, as I said earlier on, I don't think Prevot needed to push that hard when he was behind Garda. He was sitting pretty, the position was his, he knew he had to pit. So actually he could have just hovered behind him rather than push and actually compromise the position that he was in. I think he was lucky to come off that. And I think if that had been anyone else, I think they would have pulled over. This is not an RWB extant league. Anybody can join this. It's an open grid. There's no RaceApp sign up. It's not public lobby mentality though, as you've clearly seen. You know, there are rules and people's names are noted if they drive like an idiot, and they're basically never allowed with us again. I'm not saying Prevot drove like an idiot. I'm saying it was unwise, and that was not good form. And I'll be watching closely, Prevot, for the rest of races that you're in. That said, though, you're very talented. You're out there. You're doing exceptionally well. You're in 3rd place. You're chasing down Varley. You're really bringing the pressure there to him. So, great racing. Just a silly mistake, in my view, at the hairpin where, you know, you tapped Garda. Yeah. Let's... oh, I've just seen a note in... just sent a note from Gabsy, actually, in YouTube chat. Sorry, Gabsy, I can't help you because I'm not able to select you anymore. According to this, you're not even in the race anymore. I think you've retired. Okay. Let's have a rundown then. Jake Moore out there in front. Significant lead to Varley, who is just coming into the 130 right, which is actually left. And it's showing 1 lap. That's because Jake has already... Oh, and Varley goes straight over. Keep the wheels straight and you might get away with it. It shows 1 lap because he's already crossed the line. But he crossed the line. When Varley crosses the line, we'll get a time differential. I think it's about 18, 19 seconds. Probably more, actually. 23 seconds. So, 23-second lead Jake has got on second place. 1 second behind Varley is this man, Prevot, with the controversial move earlier on at Garda, but let's give him a break now, Tiger. In third place, good for him. Bookcheck in 4th place, and Badowski in 5th place. Napone, who had that little bit of a late breaker into a section of the snake, and just tapped one of the guys, which Napone came worse off on. Again, not done on purpose, just very easy to do coming up on the snake. Cosotti in 7th place. Alabi in 8th place. 8th place. Holmberg in 9th place, just exiting the Casio triangle. The chicane. Tom Proctor in 10th place. Jamie Downs in 11th place. Of course, we've got the Brit in 12th place. Alex Smith, who, he had his stop and go penalty, didn't he? And obviously those time differentials between those positions was enough for him to come in, come out, and actually not be affected that much. I thought he would be. Fair play. Fair point. Zinn in 14th, good position for him. By that I mean that he will be happy with that, rather than a measurement. Jamie Bird in 15th. Hitchon, who we saw earlier on, being lapped by number 1 position, and it looks like Samuel Yane is challenging Hitchon in cockpit with Samuel. Let's see whereabouts he can get him. Let's go to a camera set. Lovely view down there. These 3 guys there. It's showing FX and 18th. I don't think you'll find that's FX. I think you'll find that's Charger. We'll double check in a minute when they go onto the main straight. No, it wasn't Charger. FX onto the main straight now. Who on earth? Do you know what? It would have been up here. It would have been one of the leaders, wouldn't it? Yep. Maddow in 20th. Of course, Garda, who we saw just get tapped. And I can see the logic of him staying out for as long as he needed to. Got tapped at the rear there by Theobald Prevot, who now is showing in 2nd place. So Prevot has obviously gained a place from Varley. Let's go back 1 minute for Prevot. We've gone back 1 minute. We're on a replay. Prevot there taking Varley on the first corner, known as the first corner. This is a replay we're watching of Prevot and Varley. Looking at Varley and in cockpit with Varley chasing what was his position. So just to reiterate, this is a replay of Varley losing his position to Prevot and the challenge immediately afterwards. Coming into the right-hander, the 45 right, face full of sparks, into Denga corner. So these two are going to be 2 to watch for the rest of the race, which, is down to about 8 minutes now. So Prevot secured 2nd place from Phil Varley. Well done, Theobald. With Arrows Racing. 7 minutes and 16 seconds left to go. Everyone has now pitted. Jake is out there in front with a commanding lead. Last time we looked, it was 23 seconds, based upon 0.79 seconds a lap. 3 laps away. You know, you're looking at him being about 28 seconds, 27, 28 seconds at this point in front of Prevot. That's providing, of course, Prevot's pace is the same as that which was Varley's. Napone just received a drive-through. Terrible news for Napone. He's going to have 3 laps to do that with only 6 minutes left to go. He's going to want to get that done pretty bloody quickly. So Napone with a drive-through will rejoin possibly in 8th place. Possibly 9th, but I wouldn't have thought anything lower than that. Let's find out. Keeping my eye on the other positions there. The nuance of commentating on a track like Suzuka versus a track like Nürburgring is very obvious, isn't it? This is a very fast track, lots of sweeping corners, and actually it doesn't take long before cars even out, and they're individually racing out there, some of them. So some of the close action is few and far between. Surely Napone will come in at this point. As in the helicam we watch him come in. As I said, I think at the most he'll rejoin in 9th position. You know, it's going to take him 30 seconds at least to go all the way through. And that pit lane, when you've got a 30-second drive-through, when you've got a drive-through, is the longest time of your life. It is awful. Cassotti passing, a few guys passing now. He rejoins surely. We'll see when that pans out whether actually he was lucky. I don't think he was. Let's see where Cassotti is. Yeah, so Cassotti, who's in 7th place, is in front of Napone, so Napone will be in 8th place. Yeah. Holmberg is in 9th place. Let's find out. And Holmberg is just going around on the main straight. So yeah, so Napone will be in 8th place, and that will even out for him to show 8th place when they cross the start line, or when they cross the next sector line. Jake then out in front on his own essentially. Let's see the time differential as he crosses the line. To Prevot. That's Alex Smith behind him being lapped. So we go to Prevot now, Theobald, who's coming into the 130 right. When he crosses the line, we'll get a true reading. Um, 27, 28. We're almost to 20. We're almost to 29 seconds, aren't we? Let's see. 29.5 seconds. I work it out to be. 29.258. There you go. I'm 0.3 off, but about 29.5 seconds. Yeah, and no, that doesn't show up in the leaderboard. It doesn't show up in the race director either. So yeah, actually, so what does that tell me? It tells me that Prevot is going at the same pace as Phil Varley. He's lapping at the same pace, which is enabling speed to pull out about 0.79, about 0.7 seconds a lap on 2nd place. So I think it's a fair assessment, isn't it, that this man is going to win this race again. Jake Moore, the speed demon at RWB, with a significant lead on 2nd place and the rest of the pack. You know, he's in a tier on his own. If I was that talented, I'd be bored, to be honest with you. But fantastic for the rest of us to see, and of course to race against and try and be better. But 2nd place, Prevot, notwithstanding the Slightly controversial move on guard earlier on. Clearly not done in purpose. No one wants to ruin anyone else's race. But it was an unwise position he put himself in that could have ended his race. It didn't, but it could have done. And actually, I don't think he needed to put that much pressure on. He knew that the guy in front of him was going to pit and had to pit, and he had already pitted, Prevot. So he didn't need to be quite so pushy. Badowski in third place, currently being chased down by Varley, who has been second, third, and now back down into fourth. Bukcek hunting down Varley, and with Varley we can see, goodness gracious, I'm not at all sure. Come on, camera, come around, camera. What on earth is going on? Goodness gracious, not sure what was going on there. What a strange angle on the Lexus. We'll take it. Yeah, Phil Varley and Bukcek taking their race to the final lap. Cassotti had a really solid race. Cassotti, Napone had a good race at the beginning, finishing well. Had a stop and go penalty, or not, had a drive-through penalty. Was lucky to come out in the position he did, I think. But that was as a result of his fast pace in the first 3/4 of the race. And he had plenty of time there, didn't he? And rejoined in 8th. He's now up into 7th. So, yeah, he'll be content with that. He'll be slapping himself, though, for getting that drive-through. Allenby down the main straight in 9th place. In 8th place. 9th place for Holmberg. Proctor going through the Casio Triangle chicane now and exiting onto the main straight in 10th place. Jamie Downs in 11th place. Smith in 12th place. The Brit in 13th, just in front of him. So the race is still on for these guys. Zinn in 14th. FX in 15th, who now has started to, as you can see now, he's started to, if there was another hour, he would be in a good position to climb up even more. Zinn is his guy that he's chasing down now into the hairpin, and there is FX. So FX is now starting to regain positions on the same lap as his challengers holding positions in front of him. Jake Moore on what is essentially the last lap now. He's just at the top of the snake, isn't he? Gone through Dunlop, now coming down towards the 45 right. As sparks fly. Down into the Degner corner and under the bridge. Into the hairpin. Meanwhile, Prevot is in second place, and Badowski in third, Bukcek fourth. No racing going on there, no battles going on there. Let's stay with first place and let first place cross the line. As Jake just coming through the spoon now. Spoon curve. Love a good spoon. So Jake Moore then, Speed Demon, is going to finish the second Spirit of race. Again in first position. Hurrah. Will there be a challenger one day who will really push him, do you think? Phil Varley, look, gets a stop and go. Probably for track limit abuse. And I think he'll probably take that and they'll have the 30 seconds added. Well done, Speed Demon. First place again, to be expected. Bags of sparks from Prevot. And not taking anything away from him. Great pace, great racing. Maybe a little bit experienced when it comes to some basic strategy. Second place, well done, Prevot. Badowski in third place, crossing now. In the background there, along the main straight, is Bookcheck in 4th place. Well done. Cassotti in 5th place. Look, we can see Tom Proctor's got a drive-through. Smoke bellows from the clouds. Crowds. Being chased by Napone in 6th place. As they're side by side through the Casio Triangle. Down the main straight now. As these guys cross in 5th and 6th respectively. Allenby in 6th place. Well done to him. Felix Holmberg in 9th place. And Varley in 9th place. With that stop and go, he'll be absolutely seething. I think that's because he was pushing so hard. You know, 2nd to 9th. You know, he will not be too happy with that, I'm sure. But nonetheless, a 9th place finish. Well done. And Proctor comes in for his drive-through and will cross the line in the pits. I think it. And you can see there the plus 60 seconds that Varley gets as a result of not doing that stop and go before the end of the race. So Proctor has, and actually because it's the end of the race, I don't think it'll make any difference whatsoever. There we go. Second race, second Tuesday. I think that went pretty well. Everyone seemed to have a really good race out there. Commanding lead by Jake Moore, RWB Speed Demon. 2nd place, Prevot, and 3rd place, Badowski. Great racing from them. Great racing from all. And some beautiful visuals provided by the wonderful ACC. Brilliant. That's awesome. So there we go. That was the second race. Spirit of Japan. Where will we be next Tuesday? Don't know. Really don't know. I'm not sure yet. I think there is another Spirit of. Who knows? How do you find out? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wait for the little thumbnail to appear to let you know what's going on next Tuesday. Simple as that, really. Don't forget what I said about the GT4 League. There's still plenty of spaces. We've got multiple tiers. Come along to rwbracing.club, come into Discord and look at the sign-ups. And you've got to do a hot stint lap, 5 laps around Zolder in a GT4 car, and your average time basically positions you for a specific tier. Loads of spaces, and the qualifying finishes in the evening, I believe, tomorrow. So tomorrow evening, you've got until tomorrow evening. So you've got to be in it to win it. So get on it. Right, there you go then. That's the end of the Tuesday, end of the stream. Thanks very much. Join me on Friday, where, of course, we then go into our DTM League, which is really exciting. 2016, some fantastic racing all the way through the field. It's very easy to remember that the GT3 cars and long tracks like this, can get a little bit stagnant, but the DTM 2016s, oh my God, in Race Room, that is some wicked racing. Very close stuff. So join me then on Friday with Beanster, who will be finishing his trial commentary with us. And we hope he comes and joins us as part of the team supporting RWB in their races going forward. Brilliant. All right. Until then, you know what we say. Don't race alone. Race RWB. Take care then. Bye-bye.